Because we're getting ready to muck around with our firewall rules, it's easy to lock yourself out. And because of that, I want to demonstrate the safe mode of operation for both the WebFig, the Winbox, and the terminal command. Highlight safe mode, we come down here and disable our interface. We're going to disable our Ether2, which everything goes through that. Now it's disabled, so it did seem to work. So you notice in Winbox it did in fact re-enable Ether2 and rebooted. So Winbox safe mode works fine. Okay, here I am on a Windows machine and I'm going to enable safe mode. Then I'm going to go up here to our interfaces. And interface 2, which is what everything goes through on here, I'm going to remove the enable tag on it. If you notice now when I try to say, okay, I can't, the thing's dead. So at this point you just have to be patient. Eventually the router will figure out that you've lost your connectivity and it'll reboot. You just have to be patient and allow the reboot to take place. If you notice, it looks like it's working. I can change menus here. I can go to different locations. I try to go to services. I can't get there. It's not working. Even though it looks like it's working, it's not working. And so far, the system has not detected that I've lost my interface. Okay, when it finally realized that it's lost connection and rebooted. So all that time was during the reboot. So now that it's realized that it's lost its connection, I'm going to try to log in again and notice it came back. It does in fact figure it out eventually. It takes a while. It took like over a minute, maybe a minute and a half for it to figure it out. I think what happens is it figures out, then during the reboot you're still waiting. You don't know it's figured it out. And when the reboot finishes, then it lets you log back in. In this example, we have the secure browser connection on Windows to the router. We also have a secure PuTTY connection to Windows on the router. So I want to see if we can break this by using the safe mode protection. So we're going to do Control X, which enters safe mode. If I select the browser, if I select the terminal, notice now we're in safe mode. So I'm going to now go to my interfaces. So we're going to set interface number, which is 1, to disabled equals yes. I'm going to try to print. Notice at this point we've lost all our connectivity. We can't do anything. It's just sitting here, it's dead in the water because we killed the interface. We killed the interface up here that we were using. With this command, we disabled it. So we're waiting to see what the router does. Eventually the router should figure out that there's a problem out here. Notice the network error popped up. That means the router knows there's an error. So now the router is going to reboot, hopefully. And we'll come back with our original configuration minus this last change, which is what broke the connection. My secure browser interface came back. So now let's see if I can get back my other interface here. And sure enough, it came back too. So the Control X did in fact save us. In this experiment, I want to try to repeat something that happened to me previously. I was experimenting with the Control X to enter safe mode from the terminal. Then I went in here in Winbox. I went to interfaces. I disabled interface Ether2. And now I can't. It acts like I can go there, but I don't think I can. So let's just wait and see what happens. Yes, Winbox did in fact reboot. So maybe I missed something. Maybe when I set the, I got to reconnect here. Log back in. Let's take a look at what happens here in close detail. Notice the safe mode is now enabled, now it's disabled. So I come down here, I do Control X. Notice the safe mode says I can't go into safe mode. So the safe mode's not active on the Winbox. And it doesn't activate on Winbox either. So let's take a look up here. Notice, see, this one acts kind of squirrely. You can't change it, but it doesn't give you the message either that I can see. Let's go back to our terminal. Terminal's still in safe mode, and I can't place WebFig in safe mode. It won't let me. It won't even tell me that someone else has it. If we go back to Winbox, like I showed you before, if you try to do safe mode in Winbox, it tells you cannot enable it. It's held by someone else. So it's interesting that WebFig does not warn you that it's already in safe mode with another interface media. And Winbox does warn you. It's interesting. So that was a first experiment. I thought I saw something, but I didn't. I thought I found a way to break it, but I didn't. So safe mode works fine. And while we're on the subject, safe mode is really very effective in protecting you from locking yourself out of your own router while you're doing configuration changes. Like I shown, interface changes or even firewall rules could lock you out of certain connectivity. So safe mode is a good thing to use no matter which medium you're using to control the router changes. And once you made all your changes and it never broke your connection, then you can pretty much assume it's safe to go ahead and take it out of safe mode, then exit, and that will update all your changes. And like I say, you always have to fall back in case something goes south. Now that we have that out of the way, it's important that we recognize that the safe mode only protects your ability to access the router configuration. It detects when it loses connection, and that's how it knows to revert back and reboot the router. If you do things that don't affect your router connection, such as you blow away some of your users out there, you make your users unable to get to the internet, or you make your users unable to get on the LAN with some firewall rule, then safe will not help you at all. So keep that in mind. Safe is to protect your connectivity to the router, and safe also lets you change things without actually changing them. The only advantage to safe is it keeps you connected to your router configuration. And this concludes the lesson on safe mode.